whoever has the whoever's the more type A is going to be on the console, right? And it's shitty. And I think back on it now, I was like, damn, dude, I was such an asshole. Because I know James sitting and waiting in the wings. So, and then he would play, and then he would die, and I'm like, my turn, boom. And then I would die, and I'm like,
one more time.
One more time. I know what I'm doing. And then this argument would ensue between us. And I feel bad about it.
It's so weird. You guys are twins, but why do you have the older brother energy? Like, were you born like a few seconds earlier?
Sure? I think he has the second sibling.
I have the idiot energy is what I have.
That's right,
What for the people that just jumped in? I don't think they caught the whole conversation.
Yeah.
What we were talking about when we grew up and got our first console, which was the Nintendo, and the first game that came out was Mario Brothers, and it's not a two-person game. I mean, we had two controllers. I mean, it comes with two controllers.
Does it? Okay.
I don't remember what the first game Nintendo came out with that was a two-player.
Was it not Mario?
Yeah,
Mario
it was. You could be Mario or Luigi.
I don't remember if that was the first one, though. He might be right. No, because it was Mario Brothers, right? So it had to be two-player, right?
I'm pretty sure
you can play two players at the same time.
Not at the same time. One, then the other.
Yeah.
If you died, then the next person goes.
Correct. Yeah, and that's where that whole conversation we just got into is like, well, back in the day, you used to have to go buy that. What was the manual? You could buy the little manual for video games, and it walks you through all the levels, and it gives you all the
guide, the player's guide, or whatever.
Player's guide.
It gives you
Nintendo Power.
The power ups and whatever. And I watched one earlier today, and it's this infinite lives that you get. Thanks, Jan. Appreciate it. That was very just. You get like this,
brothers.
Right? You get this like infinite amount of lives where this guy just created all these lives, just boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah, jumping on the turtle.
Something like that, yeah. And it just stacked up with these 100 like men or whatever. And that was me in my life because I just sat in the back. I'm like, I want to play this. Can I play? You know, no. When I die, I'm like, well, you got like 500 men, and it's like, then I was like,
I know what I'm doing.
I'm just gonna go read a book. I'm gonna go study.
Yeah,
and that's what I did.
I got smarter. I got more. Hey, I got great hand-eye coordination, but couldn't read a book to save my freaking life. Man.
Try it with two older brothers, bro. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
I never got to play.
Yeah, right.
Until they got the new console and handed me the old one.
Do you remember like the glove?
Power glove, yeah.
Bro, dude,
garbage.
I wanted that thing so freaking bad, and like we couldn't afford it, and it wasn't gonna like. We couldn't afford it. We didn't have a job. We're kids, man. But our parents were like, look, man, we got you Nintendo, okay? Make do.
I was thinking about like how spoiled my kids are because when I was a kid, my dad took me to the store, didn't say why we're going there. And he's like, all right, Matt, do you want a Super Nintendo or a Sega? And I just remember being like, what? What's happening? Like,
Sega.
It's not a birthday. Like, nothing. Like, why are you doing this? You know? He's like, just going to pick one out. What do you want? And I just remember being like, freaking out. Pick the Super Nintendo, obviously. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice.
It's one of those deals.
Now it's like, now like the kids, it's like, yeah, what you want another game? Here's $50. Go get your damn game. You know,
crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to like. I saw a TikTok earlier today, and kids are just not good with making decisions, and this just goes out like throughout life. It's like you can't let kids just make their own decision because they're going to choose like the most obvious or the shittiest or whatever
it's what appeals to them.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like frontal cortex or frontal part of their brain hasn't developed yet enough. They don't know. They don't understand.
100%. And so this dad sets his son right in front of, and he's like, okay, here's a choice. And he pulls out $2,000 and sits it on the table.
Oh, it's $10,000.
$10,000.
$10,000. Sets it on the table, and then he's like, 2 Oreos. He's like,
he didn't even hesitate.
Which one do you want? He's like, Oreos.
when the cash comes out,
was that kid probably like 4, maybe
5, maybe But when the cash comes out, he sees it right, $10,000. He goes, or you can have these 2, and the whole time he's doing it, the kid's eyes are already locked on those damn Oreos.
Right.
He's like, I want them Oreos.
Right.
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
by the time the kid can take that money and bring it somewhere and get something and bring it home, that's like half his life already. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Like,
maybe.
He's like, no, I can get the Oreos now or spend half my life getting something,
right.
you know?
Right.
That's why my buddy, he had, when he had kids, his kid was crying a lot when he was like a young baby. And he's like, why is this kid crying all the time? Like, I just take something away and he gets all mad. I'm like, well, just think about it. Whatever just happened is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to him in his entire life. You know, if he's like, if he's like 7 months old and you take away his toy, that's probably the worst day of his life. Like he's going through it right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Why are you taking a toy from a 7-month-old anyway? That seems kind of shitty.
Horrible dad.
You know
What's
what?
wrong with that guy?
Sorry, Travis.
Sorry, Travis.
Get your shit together, Travis.
All right.
Freaking Travis.
Do better. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. I mean, I know I mentioned this to John yesterday and Matt on the group chat. I put a snap out there to the guys of my little incident that I had this Saturday. Obviously, I mean they don't look at snaps
Because we're not 14.
I saw it.
Yeah. So
I clicked in.
So I took a let me
Tumble.
I took a tumble. I took a little fall Saturday night.
You know what I blame?
What's that?
I blame Colorado State and Colorado game. That's what I blame.
It was just so boring.
No. I mean, I stayed up till
Double
like,
overtime.
Yeah,
No,
it was
Tell
like
us-
it was too
midnight.
long. It was
Tell
too
us
long,
what
yeah.
happened.
Let me get you into the story. So I'm not going to go into the whats and the hows and the white knots and all that stuff like that. I tripped. I fell. All right. Okay. Well,
You did not trip and fall.
I may have tripped or fell, or I may have fallen off a chair. I don't know. We don't know. There's no cameras around, so we're just gonna.
Not yet.
That's not even the important part.
I think it is.
Maybe you were pushed.
I fell asleep at the bar and I fell over on the chair. Thank you guys.
And
So-
to clarify, the bar in your garage, you weren't out in
Right.
public,
Sitting
okay? I
on
don't
a
want people
stool.
thinking you're out in public
Correct.
collapsing.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to let everybody know my business, but hey, we got a podcast, so we might as well just put all our lives out there. So I did fall, and I wasn't really super intoxicated. I mean, I had like we went out to Emma's birthday. We had a few drinks out there. We came back. We watched football, drank a little bit. And Jan tailed off. He's like, okay, I'm going to see you later. I think the stupid cat came over again, or maybe I'm thinking about the previous night or whatever it was. And he's like, okay, I'm going to head out. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm still watching this Colorado game because it started at 9 and it was midnight, 12:30, and it was still going on. And then it goes into double overtime. And I'm just like, so at that point, I'm like, well, I need food. So I ordered food. I got food. I ate food, and I'm just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
Was it Mexican food?
Lights
Was
out.
it Taco Bell? What'd you get?
You got Jack in the
Jack
Box.
in the Box.
Jack in the Box. Okay.
That's the only thing open.
That put you out.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the next thing you know is like, boom, fell off. Woke up. I was like, what the fuck just happened? It's like, did I just get in a fight? What? I was stunned. I was like, dude, I just took like a fucking right hook or something.
Probably
Like,
concussed, bro.
yeah. I mean, somebody may have come into the garage and just hit me. I don't even know. But yeah, I probably was. So Laura was still up. She was like, you gotta like check me out because my ear's bleeding a little bit and
I have a hole in the side of my head.
right. So she's like, what the fuck happened? And so we go through
A
this
little bit of
whole.
a black eye, too.
I got a little bit of a black eye. So all in all, like things could have been much worse. So I'm very thankful that and I learned my lesson that I'm not going to.
Don't say it. Don't. No.
Not going
Don't-
to watch football, drink.
It's fine.
No. That's not even
We're
where I'm
just
going to
not. We're not going to fall out of chairs.
go. That I'm not going to sit in those chairs anymore. Like literally, those are going out into the curb. I think
That's not.
I mean, I think I'm
The
going to
chair is not the
You
problem.
need a lazy boy.
Yeah, 100%. I think we're bringing the garage couch back. I think we need the garage couch, and we'll just move
Nobody
the
got hurt
chairs
on the
out.
garage
I love-
couch.
I love
Nobody got
how-
hurt on it.
I love how he just turns around and says, "Look, I know what the problem is. It's the
Yes.
chairs.
It's the chair's fault.
It's got to be the chairs." And I
damn comfortable.
did nothing wrong, and I've already thrown them away, and I bought a couch. And there's no way anybody falls off a couch and does what they did, what I just did.
The only other explanation is narcolepsy. Like, I may need to be checked for narcolepsy.
It's
so I'm
definitely
just-
not
No,
eating fast food and drinking a lot and staying up late. That's
No, it's
definitely
not.
not what caused it.
it's not.
Definitely not.
No.
It's fine. We don't need to talk about this anymore. It's not what happened. It's
We're
just
glad
what
you're
happened.
Put it
okay.
to bed. Yeah.
We are glad
No,
you're
so,
okay.
so I did get the next morning. I woke up. It's like my wrist hurts, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, and I'm twisting, turning. I'm like, that doesn't feel normal. I'm like, Laura, I might have broke it or something. Like, I don't know. She's like, "Fuck." I was like, okay.
I bet she did say, "You're such a freaking."
Yeah. She was getting onto my case a little bit, but she was like understanding. She was like, I mean, accidents happen. I mean, shit.
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? And I was like, I think I'm gonna go drive myself down to the little urgent care and just have them just take a look at it, whatever. So I was like, okay, so
You didn't ask her to drive you. You're like, "Look, I just too much pain. I just,
no.
I'm going to need a ride." Right?
She wasn't feeling well. She was sleeping. I was like, I'll just make it there one arm. I mean, again, I can. It's fine. So
One arm. Like,
I get there and I'm like, okay, there's nobody in the lobby. And I'm like, I'm just gonna sail in, sail out, done. And all of a sudden, she's like, oh, she hands me this iPad. She's like, you need to fill this out. I'm like, oh, okay. And I was
With
like,
your messed up hand.
right, yeah, a messed up hand. And it's like, I don't have my wife with me. Like, don't you usually fill this stuff
Can
out?
I take this home with me real quick?
What's my social security
What's
number?
my address?
Exactly.
Do you know my telephone number?
So I by the time I get filled out, the waiting room's already filled up. There's like freaking like 5 people in front of me. And I'm like, come on, I just want to get out. Because football's fixing to start, and I haven't even set my lineup.
Priorities, man.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm already feeling good enough. To like,
I gotta throw away 2 chairs.
Need to check out of here.
Yeah.
And so she takes me back into the room. I finally get back in there, and then I stay in this fucking waiting room. And it has one of those motion sensor lights where there's no movement. It just cuts off. This thing cut off like 4 times.
That's what it's set in the dark.
Yeah, at one point in time, I was just sitting in the dark.
Trying to
went
see
to
how
sleep.
still you could be.
Yeah, and I was just gonna have somebody open the door and just like all of a sudden, light turns on and just sees me. Like, so I was sitting waiting. It's like fuck. Finally, the doctor comes in. She, what happened? This and that. I was like, oh, okay, well, I fell out of my chair.
Did you tell her like the real
When
story?
this happened, she's like, were you drunk? I was like, it doesn't matter if I was drunk or not. What kind of questioning is
What
this?
doctor are you?
Go freak yourself.
Yeah.
Freak yourself. Just give me the damn X-ray to find out if it's broken or not. I mean, then she's like, oh, okay, we'll get it X-rayed and this and that. And hey, knock on wood, nothing was broken. So thankful for that. But that was a longer story than we needed to
That was a long story.
to go in
God,
that.
I wish there was video.
I know.
Right.
I know. Thank goodness.
I'm putting a camera up. I'm just
we
telling
need
you.
Thank
one in
goodness
there.
there's
We
not.
need one in there.
But let's go into a really quick story that I found earlier today. It's the story of Joey, the albino bear. Have you heard about this?
I never have, no.
Okay, I came across this on a TikTok, and I think Jan might have, and I think we'll throw it up on the screen where you can see him. So, and I don't have a context as far as when this happened year-wise, but apparently Joey, and I can only imagine Joey just doing what bears do, right, during the summer, just getting the honey and then just catching the fish and just getting all fat and happy for hibernation. And that's exactly what he does. He goes and hibernates, and then he just snoozing around. So I say activists, but these conservationists, this group just stumbles upon him, and they see him. They're just white bear that's just hibernating. They're like, holy shit, this polar bear. And this is Columbia, Alaska, I think. He's out of place. Like, he migrated the wrong direction, and we need to help this poor guy. And so
Canada.
Canada. They say so. They trank him, and then they airlift him to the North Pole,
Arctic.
the Arctic.
He woke up like, what the?
Hey, guys.
It's cold out here.
Oh shit!
And so I'm sure he's just wigging out, and all of a sudden it's like, and I don't know how long he was there, but you had this science expedition that was trekking through that area, and they came across him and was like, oh, okay, this bear does not belong here. So they ended up catching him and then taking him back to Alaska, and then he was there for I don't know how long, or a year.
Yeah, so they get him back to like warmer climate, something that has something where he's from, right? And in the process, I think they dyed his hair brown.
They did,
because he's an albino.
What?
They
grizzly
dyed his
bear.
hair brown.
Why?
So because he's an albino grizzly bear, it's like maybe if we dye his hair, people won't think that he's whatever and
Polar
whatever.
bear.
So the hair grows
Yeah,
back.
hair grows back, though.
Yeah.
Like,
So they find him again. A different group of people find him. They end up tranking him and putting him back in freaking the Arctic, right?
poor bear.
So
What the hell?
yeah. So another group, he lives there, miserable, right? Losing weight and everything else.
Yeah, freezing to death.
So somebody else finds him. They're like, holy shit, what is this grizzly doing out here? So they bring him back. And this happens a few times, right? And they finally get him into is it a zoo or is it
they bring him back. They put him in a zoo, some type of like habitat. But the crazy thing is they put him in a polar bear environment.
When did this happen? When was this? What year?
We got to find out what the year is.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
And so, and he's in this exhibit just like freezing his balls off. And they show a video. There's a YouTube video. They show his lips just like quivering.
Right.
And finally,
Miserable.
somebody like mentioned something to somebody, and then they realize like, holy shit, this is a freaking brown bear. This is a
Grizzly bear.
I can look at this picture and know that that's not a polar bear.
100%. Yeah, I'm like, what kind of zoologist or what kind of like scientist? I mean, obviously, scientists in the Arctic, they knew what they were dealing with, but the activists or the conservationists, the ones that are the eco warriors that are out there just like, oh, look at this poor polar bear just out of place, just
Can you talk about the size? Polar bears are enormous compared
Yeah,
to other bears. They're way bigger.
I don't know, man. Grizzly bears are huge too.
Yeah, but not like a polar bear. Those things are huge.
Yeah. Look, all I know is that like one of these don't look like they belong here. They're gonna usher you out. So poor guy.
Yeah.
But they ended up putting him back. I think he's back in the wild.
Yeah,
Is he still
I think
alive?
Joey's,
Like,
I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
he's
know.
still
But
throwing. We're just gonna say
I think
he
he
is.
put him back in the wild. And
They put
Joey's
him
doing
back
great.
to the North
Yeah.
Pole.
Yeah.
All right, you're free.
take care, Joey.
Yeah, and the other quick story I read, and I don't know what the deal is with all this alien talk, but it is just all over social media, all over in the media itself. Even the governments are coming out saying that there's aliens. Mexico is getting involved in this thing, and they have unveiled what they are saying that is a 1,000-year-old mummification of an alien that they've been holding on to for quite some time. Why they're just picking now to unveil this, I don't know.
Yeah, ever since I first saw this picture, that looks like a pinata to me.
That's paper mache.
That looks
bro.
like a pinata.
That is paper mache.
What's in his armpits?
Rocks.
I think that's just holding it in place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but-
Look.
I'm just
Look.
it
Linda.
got me when I saw it. I was like, that's fucking ET. Like,
Yeah.
come on, you just made this like not too long ago, and you mimic it after freaking ET.
I don't know what to say about
Paper
this.
mache.
Yeah, and context to the side, you can't really see, but the thing is probably maybe about 1.5 feet tall.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty small.
Yeah, pretty tiny.
Again, paper mache.
Yeah, it's-
We didn't want to do a full live, like a
This is
full
all like a big
size.
thing,
Right.
and they're gonna it's gonna be like psych, and there's gonna be hitting it with the sticks, and candy's gonna come falling out. It's
Right.
like, you fell for it, you idiots.
Again, right? See you next week with a different one. I'm not gonna lie, it looks creepy as hell, man. I don't. Are you saying they dug it up somewhere? Or they've had it for a
I
long
think they've
time?
had it for a while, and they're just now unveiling it, which is the weird part.
I think it's because our government is like releasing like alien information lately. They're like, you know what? We got aliens
We're
too.
gonna one-up
Boom.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like them apples.
But do we though?
No.
Who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah. I did see. Did you
Whatever.
see the F-35 jet that just went? I think there was some type of malware or some type of issues that they had over the past week or weekend that this fighter pilot had to eject out of it, and it was set on autopilot, and this thing just was cruising around. They weren't really sure. It was around the South Carolinas or whatever. They didn't have a pinpoint where it was, which I found like kind of weird. Like, you should know where all your jets are.
You don't
I mean,
LoJack
have-
those things? Like-
Exactly. But it was flying around, and they had no control over it, and it was on autopilot. And I think it did crash. But
I can't believe you eject and that thing just keeps going.
yeah, this thing stayed on cruise control.
You think they'd have one of those little wrist things like when you're on a jet ski?
Yeah, right.
You know, it
Just
just
got seen it.
pops loose. and
The
it's
cord,
like,
like when you're on a boat,
Right.
it just slows down and drops to the ground.
Exactly. You're on a treadmill. You don't get like just ate up.
Ha, dude, that's gonna be like the craziest ghost ride of your life, right? You know, when you're a kid, you jump off your bike and your bike kept going, right? You're like, look at that ghost ride, and this dude parachuting down. He's like, what am I gonna say?
Well, I'm
this
fired.
jet's just doing a bank, right?
It's like just donutting around.
Coming back around.
running its routes. And you're like, oh shit, this gonna run out of fuel before this thing goes down.
Exactly. What is that, like a $500 million jet or
Oh, probably,
$1 billion?
yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Man,
But,
I love these stories, but somewhere out there, there's a new listener who's tuned in for the first time. Like, is this a barbecue podcast?
I thought
Like,
this was
they-
barbecue. I thought we did barbecue here.
exactly. It's grabbing the brisket. You know what it is.
Yeah, it's all the shit. Anyways, we can do some barbecue talk. I got just a little bit of hot off the grill barbecue news from the NBBQA and Barbecue News Magazine. Speaking of the NBBQA, I've been drilling this into the ground, but the conference is coming up, and we want everybody to come.
We do. We do.
We want everybody to come to a conference.
It's a phenomenal event. I think that we've talked about it. I know that we've had the experiences. I don't think this guy has had really any experiences over here with James, but I think that it's a really, really cool event. And it's close.
I
right?
experience a lot of things, guys.
Yeah, he's saying you're inexperienced.
You're inexperienced when it comes to this. And, you know, who knows? Maybe at some point we're able to actually give a class, you know, and talk about, you know, the social media side or the podcast side or whatever else, right? So, I mean, I think it's just a really, really cool event. And we heard from Meathead last time that Yeah, he's giving a photography class there as well.
Yeah,
so,
that is cool. Oh, and I think all the classes are listed online now. So when you go sign up, you can sign up, pick out your classes. But I like your idea. That would be a cool thing to do, Kel. I know you're listening, Kel.
Come on, Kel. Hook us up.
Right.
But then that means I can't attend if we're doing a lesson. I want to go to that photography class that Meathead's doing.
No, 100%. And I think that's the thing. Like, so they're going to hold it's for a few days. They're going to hold a bunch of different classes, and you just get to pick and choose which one you're going to go into, right? If you signed up for the whole thing, right? Is that how it works? Is there individual ones?
I think you can sign up for individual, or maybe you can sign up for all. I don't know exactly how it works. Go online and look.
Okay. So I don't want to
I was just picturing us book our class.
See,
these guys are just drunk.
Right. This right here is a beer drinking station. We're going to teach you guys how to drink
There's
beer.
the cooler.
Yeah.
Dude,
If you don't know how to ice down beer, then we're going to teach you here.
Yeah, roll. Where's Roll at? Hey, there he is. I love it.
I feel like there was something else in the news that we were going to talk about and bring up, but I can't remember what the hell it is now. So,
Dang. Yeah. No, that's fine. I mean, I did.
Our giveaway ended.
Oh, our giveaway ended. That's what it was.
The giveaway.
We have not announced winner. Winner has been picked.
And we've reached out.
Yes.
So we've reached out to them.
And how many entries were there?
Total
almost
like
90,000 entries or something like
Let's
that.
go, man.
So pretty badass giveaway. We still have the end of the year giveaway for the,
Which is going to be even bigger.
Yeah, more batter.
Nope, don't even.
Badassery.
More
Forget
gooder.
about it.
More badassery.
Much more gooder.
I don't think so.
It's going to be really cool. So if you have not got Jesus, holy moly. If you haven't got in on our end of the year giveaway yet, send in your barbecue fails, your barbecue wins. That's the only way you can enter. So,
It is.
Anyways, that's all we got for the Hot Off the Grill barbecue news. Should we pay some bills real quick?
Let's do it.
You know, smoking meats isn't just cooking, it's an art form. The aroma, those deep flavors, the patience, it's a whole experience.
And behind every great artist, there's the right set of tools. If you're aiming to build your own barbecue pit or dreaming of a custom design tailored just for you, SmokerBuilder.com has your back.
Led by Frank Cox, their expertise is unmatched. Offering blueprints, kits, and insights, they turn every barbecue dream into a flavorful reality.
Imagine your backyard, the center of attention, and at the heart of it, a smoker that's uniquely yours.
It's more than just equipment. It's about crafting those unforgettable moments, and with the guidance of Frank and his team, you're setting the stage for magic.
So whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or taking your first steps into the smoky world,
head over to SmokerBuilder.com, fill up your carts, and be sure to use the promo code GRABTHEBRISKET in all caps to receive your 10% discount. Smoke on. You know, whether it's a casual backyard grilling session or high-pressure world barbecue competition, one thing's certain. The drink by your side needs to be ice cold.
Absolutely, and that's where YETI Coolers come in. Every time I'm grilling in my backyard, I trust YETI to keep things cold.
And in the midst of barbecue competitions, with all that heat and intensity, YETI's a game changer, ensuring those drinks stay chilled.
So whether you're perfecting the burger flip or aiming for barbecue gold, YETI's got your back. Here's to cooler moments, no matter where you grill.
Cheers.
down some ribs last night, used the Chicks That Smoke Spicy Rub, mind blown.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like the Chicks That Smoke Spicy Barbecue All-Purpose Rub, dude, it is a game changer for sure.
Yeah, if you folks have not given it a shot, you need to.
Honestly, your barbecue will thank you.
Chicks That Smoke, it's at Sucklebusters.com.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news flash.
Michael Jackson's ghost seen at a Yankees game.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, now with a shrimp in every bite.
Lil Uzi Vert's head diamond has been sold on the dark web.
Stories like this and more can be found at the Evertrending Story, a podcast where we peruse the news and write a fun fictional story for you.
Find us wherever you download podcasts and follow us on the socials at Evertrending Pod, and we are proud members of the Oddpods Media Network.
And now it's time for Frank Knows What's Wrong With It. As always, send in your questions to 434-829-2299 or shoot us an email at info@grabtheminthebrisket.com.
Hey guys, Frank Cox here from SmokerBuilder.com, and I'm back with another episode of Frank Knows What's Wrong With It. So by now, you should be sending in your questions, and if you don't know how, use the Brisket Boys helpline. Should be somewhere on this screen, or it'll also appear in the episode. So, but anyway, let's get right into it. On today's episode, we're going to talk about my smoker runs too hot. So one thing that can cause this is typically too much fuel, or it could be too much air leaking. Let's snap back to the combustion triangle. We're trying to get the right amount of fuel, the right amount of oxygen, and a good lit fire so that we can maintain a certain temperature in the pit. We can control that temperature by either limiting how much fuel is introduced, wood, charcoal, pellets, or even gas in some cases. And we can also control it by how much air is introduced into the smoker. Now, if you choke your air off too far all at once, you could get a situation that leads to what we've talked about in previous episodes, where you get a white smoke, a dirty smoke, stuff like that. So what you don't want to just automatically just go right for the air damper. In this case, we want to start running the pit different when we first start it up. We're going to take our time and not get in a hurry because this is barbecue, first of all. Second of all, we're going to set a stopwatch for about 30 minutes. That's a good time, especially on stick burners. If you're cooking on something like a drum, 30 minutes means that you walk away. We used to call it every beer. So walk away, give yourself some time, you know, hang out with your family or friends that are over. Just let Mother Nature do its thing. You just made an adjustment. Don't get in a hurry, so you don't overcorrect things and wind up just wearing you and the pit out. So what you do then is we're going to start to limit the air. We're going to start with a limited amount of air when we light the pit, and we're going to control how much charcoal we introduce into the pit to get going, especially if we're on a stick burner using charcoal as a coal bed to get started. I usually use like one full chimney or half of a chimney of charcoal that's completely lit, which means it's got a salt and pepper color to it. Now, as we go through the cook, give yourself 30 minutes, go check on it, make sure it's still on fire, make sure the temperature has in fact come up. At this point, look at the coal bed, if it's a stick burner or a pit where you can see the coal bed, and you're going to want to make sure that you still have adequate coals on the coal bed. If your charcoal bed starts to go away and you just have wood chunks sitting there that are on fire, you're not going to have enough heat. So here's how it works. The coal bed is the heat source. The wood becomes flavor and the next layer of charcoal or coal bed. So what you do then is add more charcoal if this is an offset pit or a charcoal pit where you have to add charcoal periodically. In the case of a gravity feed or a drum smoker, you shouldn't have to add charcoal. Instead, you're going to be looking at the air setting. You want to make sure that your smokestack isn't too far open or too closed. And you're also going to want to make sure that the same situation is true for your air inlet. In this case, you might be using a draft controller, and you might want to make sure that the air is actually going into the coal bed. I've seen a lot of situations where the ball valve is left closed or a door is left open on the ash box. In drum smokers, you want to make sure that your air inlet isn't too far open or too far closed. Same with the smokestack. Anyway, that's it for this episode. We're going to touch on this another one. In the meantime, send in your questions to the Brisket Boys here on the helpline, and I'll be glad to answer them. Have a great day.
Let's go, Frank.
Yep.
Dude,
Yeah.
he's so
Appreciate it,
good,
Frank.
man.
Yep. If you didn't,
So good.
if you're not watching it on the YouTube, the phone number went on the screen is 434-829-2299. Send in your questions for Frank.
There it is. Send in your questions. And listen, he's knowledgeable, and you can tell. You can tell he's knowledgeable. I really enjoyed last week's, or the last time we had him on for this, and I thought he brought up some really great points. And it's always things that you're like, oh, I kind of know that. But then when he dives into it, you're like, damn, I didn't know that.
Right, yeah,
You know?
he's got some nuggets.
There's
for
all that
sure.
aha moment, and you're like, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't
Let's
know
keep it
anybody
going.
that understands the way that they're supposed to flow. Smokers are supposed to flow, the air flows and that kind of shit,
Yeah.
like that guy.
I 100%. I like I said, it's thankfully he actually said yes to doing this because he didn't have to. So it's definitely appreciate it.
Had to bring a little credibility to the podcast. So
100%.
hey, cheers up, Frank. We appreciate it, bud.
That's the barbecue segment. Let's get back to falling off stools.
Exactly. Now, I will follow it up. I am thankful that my left hand was injured and not my right hand.
Oh,
Why
I
is
get
that?
it. I get it.
For the
For what?
Because that's my writing hand.
for like
okay. Yeah, that's right.
Get your lines out of the gutter. What do you think I'm doing? Right hand.
Stranger.
Writing it down. All right, so we're going to get into a little bit of a barbecue talk, talking about the pink smoke ring. We're talking about the smoke ring that is prevalent in all things that are barbecued when you use wood or wood charcoal or sometimes pellets, and I say sometimes, but yeah, pellets as well, wood chips and all the there are all the different types of fuels that's involved with smoking meat. So I thought like a fun subject of debating would be the smoke ring and whether or not is that indicative to being like really good barbecue, meaning do you have to have a smoke ring for it to be really good barbecue?
I feel like we're all going to be on the same side of this one. I don't think you have to have it, but I do think that a lot of times really good barbecue does have it. But I don't think you have to have it.
Well,
I think it's a sign that will point you to good barbecue, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be
Is
good.
it a sign that something is smoked?
Yeah.
As opposed to
Not
something...
even necessarily, because you can cheat your way into a smoke ring.
That is true. Yeah. Or is it a sign it's like, okay, yeah, I cooked it in my oven. I made barbecue in my oven.
right.
You know, I can make a brisket in the oven, but it's not going to have a smoke ring.
Right.
Theoretically.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can fake it, right? Everybody knows how to do a fake smoke ring.
Little tender quick.
Yeah, a little tender quick. Be careful, because if you use too much, it'll bleed all the way through. And
I was going to say, if you see something with an inch-long smoke ring, you know you're cheating.
Quarter of inch or an inch long smoke ring all around, and one little strip in the middle where it's back to like this regular meat, you know?
Right. I used mesquite.
Yeah, I smoked for 12 hours. Yeah, that's not. But I do think you eat with your eyes, you know. And I think that if you see something and it appeals to you, you're naturally going to say, "Dude, this is really good." You know.
Well, if you gave me 2 pieces of brisket, and one has a beautiful smoke ring on it, and the other one looks anemic,
yeah, one's grayed out.
Which one do you think is like? Which one am I going to go to? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
What do you want, right?
Yeah.
And for people that don't know and they don't care, I think they're going to go, "Okay, great. It's really great barbecue. It doesn't matter, right?" And I think if you're not a novice or if it's just not your thing, you know, whatever, maybe you don't notice all the nuances in it. But I think that if you do know and you see brisket, it's one thing. When I see it, I go, "Oh, okay, it's a pretty good smoke, right?" And it's hard to get that on the fat side upside, right? You lose a lot of that.
Depends on how much fat you cut off. Yeah.
So you get it on the bottom side, but you don't really. It's always faint right there on the bottom side, right? So. For a lot of years, cooking fat side up, fat side down. I cooked both ways. For a lot of years, I cooked fat side. I've done fat side up, and for a lot of years, I did fat side down. And it never really bothered me. I thought I got a better smoke ring on a fat side up. I'm sorry, on a fat side down brisket, and I think that's one of the things that maybe you play with a little bit. Maybe your brisket gets smoked part of the way that way, and then you flip it. I mean, I know they're not pancakes.
Are we flipping
briskets?
briskets?
Not flapjacks.
No.
I'm just saying. I think there's something to it. But yeah, I think you eat with your eyes. So
you're right. You're right.
I agree with you 100%. And let's dial in a little bit of the science behind the smoke ring. This is something that I kind of like very early on kind of studied. Like how to get that perfect smoke ring, how to create a bigger smoke ring, because there's always cooks that I have that there's like, I used a whole fucking cord of wood, and then I pull the brisket out, and there's just a very faint pink smoke line, and I'm like, or smoke ring, and I'm like, well, that's just not, like, I mean, then I posted on the internet, and they're like, would you cook that in the oven? You know, they start like, I used like a whole thing of wood to cook this, and then there's other times where I cooked in a drum smoker, and I used 1 block of like oak.
Yeah.
And it was a giant big smoke ring that you can, I mean, you know what I mean? So that right there, I'm like not really sure, but I kind of went down that rabbit hole to try to figure out how that happens, why it happens, what causes what the smoke ring, and we've discussed this before on the podcast, but this is a chemical reaction between the myoglobins and I think it's the nitric oxide in the wood when it burns. Those two guys or gals or whatever, they marry just to be inclusive
or neither.
of everything, or neither,
you know.
whatever. So they marry. But one thing I learned, there was a a university. I don't know if it was like Kansas or Kansas State, somewhere in there. They did it. There's a professor that did a study on talking about talking about that chemical reaction and what you could do to help prolong that chemical reaction, because he said, and we'll have to try to pull some names up or whatever, but he said that this chemical reaction only happens until the meat reaches a certain temperature. And I think it was 140, somewhere in that range. So after that,
who was our boy that came on?
Talked about this?
Yeah.
I thought it was Jess Prowse or something.
I was going to say Jess Prowse. Could have been Doug Scheiding, but
Doug Scheiding,
it was one. We've talked about it with multiple people, but that's what they say at 140. That's why some people will say if you start with your brisket a lot colder,
a little bit colder,
then you have more time for it to be in that smoke before it stops absorbing.
And it makes sense because you don't see traditional brisket, or barbecue. You don't see where the smoke ring is sunk all the way through to where it looks like freaking pastrami.
Right.
Unless
you would think that, right? If it's going to be so much wood.
Correct. Unless you use some type of chemical additive like Tender Quick, which has always been a weird thing. And that's something that I wrote down in my notes. It says, so the traditional beliefs where it has to have a smoke ring for it to be barbecue. Because that tells me you cooked on wood. But then there's a lot of controversial practices that happen in competition barbecue, which Tender Quick is one of them. And I know there's probably others out there, other chemical compounds that they sprinkle onto the brisket.
Salts and whatnot.
Correct. That sits there and just sinks a smoke ring. Like we were a part of one cook-off one time where, and I don't think it was Tender Quick. I think it was probably like the pink curing salt, where that's what they put on their brisket. But you got to set a timer. You got like 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was. And then you get a 5-gallon bucket of water and you sit there and just rinse that shit off. Because if you don't, that smoke ring is going to penetrate for like a 1 inch down. And then you're going to have, like Jan said, that little sliver.
It's going to look like pastrami.
Correct.
It will.
Yeah.
Which is basically how you do pastrami, right? With the curing sauce.
Have you ever used it? Like, have you ever put Tender Quick on a brisket and cooked it?
I have, yes.
Yeah? Did you pull it off at the right time, or how did that work for you?
I did, and I don't feel like it made it tender, so I don't know why I call it Tender Quick, because maybe I'm not using it correctly. 2, it did create a little bit of a pink little smoke ring onto it. I think, and can somebody else probably could back me up. The listeners, you guys listening, I know it's for curing, but I think it's like a quick cure. It's not like the full cure like you would get with the pink salts.
Right.
Yeah, but it's because you're marinating or you're brining that thing for how many days? 3 days.
To do like a pastrami?
Yeah.
At least 3
4
days.
days.
If you could do, some people do like a week. You
Yeah.
can. Yeah. I need to do another one of those. Those are so fucking good.
Yeah, please do.
And then the other thing I thought is that we were just talking primarily with brisket, but the negative of a smoke ring on different proteins, that the one thing I thought of was chicken, which when you sink a nice pink smoke ring into a piece of like chicken thigh or whatever, people
not the
see
same
that.
response.
Yeah. No, they're like, that's raw.
Yeah, I'm not eating that. No.
I'm not eating that. You're like, no, it's not raw at all, but it's smoked. And they're like, I don't believe you.
Right. Now, I think you're right. I think people look at different meats and say, I'll eat that.
Right.
And then, nobody wants their chicken at 150, 145.
I do.
Right? Well,
medium rare, please.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think nobody wants diarrhea. I think that's the primary.
No, I forget what his name. But
Well, mild diarrhea is all
when
right.
we had him on, I can't remember, it was Chef something.
Cleanse.
With the chef on that one time, and he was talking to us about chicken, how you don't really need to take it as high as people do. It's like
yeah.
It only has to hit that temperature for like a moment, and it's then it's officially clear of bacteria and everything.
Who is that?
No, we haven't had Punzio yet.
No.
Ever since we had that though, I never ever take my chicken as high as I used to.
Yeah, because it's about what temperature it needs to stay at, right? So you can serve the chicken at 150, but it's got to hold 150 for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
And now all my chicken's like super juicy every time I cook it
Yeah.
because I'm not just blasting it.
But there's a texture thing there. So when it's not...
You got to get it just right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
155 may be really good, 160, 152. I think it depends on the bird, and they're not all the same. I think that's why everybody struggles with chicken, because they're like, got to go to 165. And you're like, well, you just cooked it to 175. Didn't realize it. You know, it's dry. So I think that's the thing that people look at. But also cooking a chicken on a comp side and going till let's say you go to 150, and by the time that it sets up, because it's going to set for a little bit, and then by the time you set the glaze, like it's kind of warm, it's kind of cooling off and warming back up, so it's going to dry out then anyways, right? So there's that fine line of making. That's why somebody asked me the other day, like what do you think is, what's your go-to or whatever? I was like, I really like brisket, but honestly, cooking chicken sometimes is just because it's so challenging.
Yeah, it can be very rewarding.
It is, right? When it hits or whatever else. But yeah, I didn't want to get off subject of the pink smoker. Right. Because I think there's times where we've cooked stuff and like I know for sure my wife's been like, that's not cooked. You're like, yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I probed it. It's good.
I'm not eating
Your
that.
probes are working.
Yeah, I'm not
Answer
eating
your
that.
question. That was Chef Brandon
Chef
Dearden. Chef authorized.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, James, have you ever cooked a brisket just on pellets?
Yes.
When you do, I think
I have
you
to.
have. Yeah, you have. Sorry.
Hundreds, probably.
Sometimes I forget that you cook barbecue too. So when you do that,
I literally taught you.
What is he saying all the time?
Right.
that when you do it on just the pellets, what kind of a smoke ring do you get? Is it just the same?
It is the same, but I noticed like a little bit of difference. The smoke ring is a little darker
On the pellet?
On the pellet. I'm not really sure what causes that.
It's not sooty, but it's
Darker, like, you're talking about the smoke ring, darker, like, not bright, right? Is that what you're saying?
Like dark red. Like is it darker?
The opposite of bright.
Right. I'm not saying like, I'm saying like the one on the wood is not fainter. It's more of a brighter red, is what you're saying, right?
Correct. Yeah. Again, I don't know what's causing it. Is it maybe I'm running like a dirty ass pit, or
You just never clean out your
That could be it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
You're
lie.
about to have a fire.
Dirty
Yeah.
ass
That could
pits.
actually be it.
No. So here's the key for the folks out there that are listening. If you have a pellet smoker, you need to at least clean that out every once in a while. But if you don't do it every time, when you start this thing up, just open the lid and let that come up to what's the startup? It goes through a startup, and a lot of people don't do that. If everything is just enclosed and they got a lot of soot and they got a lot of crap down there and it's just taking a while for it to build up, that's when you see those lids pop off like boom, fireball. Because as soon as they open it up, it introduces that oxygen into it.
That's it.
Like Frank was talking about the triangle. It gets all the oxygen, and it's like, that's what I needed. Explosion.
Combustion.
I like that. Don't worry about cleaning those pellet smokers. Just leave it open when you fire it up.
Yeah. Well, some of them you're supposed to start with them closed. It depends on what model and make and whatever else.
I think the Green Mountain grill one I have is like that.
Yeah. I think the moral there is clean your pit.
Yeah, clean your plate, please.
I love that.
Everybody who's ever submitted a
or not, and
or
share
not.
your little fail with this. Okay?
We need fails. We need fails because every fail we've ever had with the pellet smoker is always they didn't clean it and it caught fire and like burnt everything down. So it's always because they're not cleaning it.
I'm not saying that I'm like giddy about these failures or whatever else, but when they're like,
they are fun.
When they're like, well, I had to kick over the barbecue pit and I shot this extinguisher at my wife, and now she's blind and my cow's caught on fire, and I'm back here like, oh, that sucks, but I'm like, yes, you know what I mean?
Oh, that one dude with the Weber Smoky Mountain that burned his garage down. That was the worst.
I know.
So good and so bad.
So bad. So good.
Yeah, so good.
Feel bad for that. But guess what he won?
Sucklebusters.
Sucklebusters? I'm just kidding. We can't get into that.
We're not there yet.
But he did win some.
Luckily, our end of the year giveaway is not based on how bad your fail was.
That's it. It's a win or fail, right?
Right. You just got to be in the running.
Barbecue win or barbecue fail.
Right.
And you're in.
So closing out, signing off on this barbecue segment, I'd love to hear from everybody that's listening. I want to hear what your take is on the smoke ring. Love to hear any tips or tricks that you guys are throwing out there as far as like creating your best smoke ring. Send us a message, drop us a line, send us a voicemail. We'd love to hear from you, and then we'd love to put you on the podcast as well. So,
hit the hotline, 434-829-2299.
That's right. Or if you don't know that, go to GRABTHEBRISKET.com. Check us out there. We got a little swag shop in case you want to walk around with a little Grab 'em in the Brisket shirt.
Somebody sent us a picture the other day.
They have one.
Shirts, yeah.
Badass. Yeah. I mean, we've got the how much for one rib. We've got the I don't know what else we got. Actually,
we have one with Alex's face on it. You should.
There is one with Alex's face. We've got a brisket one. It's in the Friends logo. I think it's pretty badass.
Yep.
What's one right there?
Masters of the Brisket.
Masters of the Brisket.
Classic,
dude.
Classic.
In the He-Man style. Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want to wear one of those?
A stupid person.
So I was wearing one of those and went into I went into somewhere and maybe it was a gas station or something or a restaurant, and somebody's like, "Hey, masters of the brisket," and I said, "Yeah," and they were like, "Well, that's cool," and I was like, "Okay," and they're like, "What is that?" And I was like, "No, it's our podcast."
Story.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
you want these kind of interactions.
Right.
Buy one of our shirts.
I know. Well, he goes, "Hey, what is?" He goes, "I said, we got a podcast. We have a barbecue team, whatever else." And he was just like, I couldn't shake him after that.
He was like, "Oh, I like He-Man. It's cool."
No. I couldn't shake him. He was like, "Oh, so what's it name? So what's is it called Master?" No, I said, "No, man. It's just a T-shirt that we made.
It's called Piss Off.
Yeah. He's like, "Well, I mean, like," and I was like, "Oh,
I will give you one if you stop talking to me."
Freaking hell up! Yeah, get away from me.
Yeah, he's probably following and probably listening.
No, it's fine. Hey,
I hope he is. Hey, we appreciate the listen.
Hey, we do appreciate the listen. We actually do appreciate. We are astonished every time we look on and listen. We have one person listening. It means the world. If we had 10 people listening, it means the same world to us, right? It's just cool that the fact that we get together as a group of friends and we put this out there and we have a podcast. I was in a client. I was in a conference room today. We did some. Milwaukee came in and did some presentation for us and whatever. We buy a lot of tools. Our last order was probably $30,000-$40,000 in tools that we gear up for guys, right, for all these jobs that we have. And they were just so stoked about it. Like, man, we want to help you guys out. We have training. We have this. We have new tools, like whatever, right? And so at the end of this, I was wearing the shirt, right? I got my shirt on, poncho shirt, and the guy brings it up. And I said, man, actually, I wear the poncho shirt on my podcast because I'm really wanting Poncho to reach out at some point and go, dude, I noticed you've been repping us. Let me send you some fresh gear, man, And I'm just waiting for Poncho to recognize that, it's starting to look a little, a little frayed a little bit. Maybe I need to get some new swag,
I can tell you to curtail that Poncho story.
Wow.
I'm not even done.
Coattail. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wait, curtail or coattail?
I think it's coattail.
Curtail, it means cut off.
Yeah.
Coattail is like, I want to.
You're going to ride the
tag
coat.
on.
That means that, yeah.
Curtail is
Maybe I
like,
was
you're
saying
done
it.
here.
Maybe I was saying it correctly. Shit, I'm down
Maybe you
myself.
weren't.
I guess all that reading you did back in the day didn't work out too good.
Why don't you go learn something? No, but I brought up the podcast, and they're like, well, what's the name of it? So of course I say it, and I get people that I work with in the room, they're like, yeah, say it, man. And I was like, oh, man, okay, let me say it. So I tell them, hey, grabbing the brisket, and they're like, what? Let me see this thing. I'm going to listen. I'm going to do this. I'm like, hey, cool, man, I appreciate it. It's just awkward. I don't
you
tell
call in and say the chant. No, man.
Yeah, no, right. Do it, man. Hey, it is what it is. But Poncho, if you're out there, if you're listening, I mean, just hook a boy up, man. I need some cool swag.
Yeah, extra large.
Nope.
You were saying, James?
Yes. Okay. So jump onto the coattails of that story.
Yeah.
High quality material. The poncho t-shirts, the poncho shirts, just high quality material. Very great fabric, and also very easy to get blood out of it. You know what I mean? So there was no staining that I could find. So very thankful for that.
So you were wearing a Poncho shirt when you fell out the other night?
Yeah. It might have saved my life. I don't know.
Dude, Poncho, you hearing us? Are you freaking hearing us right now? Your shirt saved my boy's life, man.
It probably took most of the brunt of the fall. Just like the Poncho, just like reached out and just like, I got you, bro.
Yeah, laid him down like a little little gentle baby.
Jesus.
Look, hey,
Reel it in.
it is what it is.
We're gonna.
We've drank too much. Let's do a grabbing the brisket.
Beer review. Dude, we're getting better.
I know.
No.
I cannot wait for Ho to get his mic because I can't wait to see how he sounds.
We're
when
going to
he
do a
does
Grabbing
it.
the Brisket Christmas special.
Yes.
I mean, just wait for that.
Oh, the singles are
man.
coming out, baby. Hey. Hey.
Raul doesn't know nothing about that. Every year for Christmas, we each bring in a different Christmas beer and we
Oh,
review
God, the
all the
Christmas
beers
episode.
in one episode.
Yep.
So we may have to Uber that night. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. Who brought this?
I don't know. James?
James, you bring this?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Good. All right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
roasted, yeah.
Sounds good.
My bad.
Sounds good.
That's what
All
I'm
right. You
talking
want to tell us
about.
about it?
I wasn't at the mic, so I couldn't hear what you guys are saying. But
Yeah.
yes, I'd love to get in and
Couldn't
talk
hear?
about this beer.
Couldn't hear.
I'm working on one good ear, so
Right. Right. Jesus, dude.
Thanks, Poncho.
Yeah. Thanks, Poncho. I know, right?
Pearl Haggard. I like the name of this one.
I heard Jan's message loud and clear.
That's right.
When we had the discussions about this, like we love Martin House, but we got to branch out. We got to go out and try some different beers, try some different breweries. So I saw this one, and we got the Pearl Haggard, the German style Pilsner. I mean, what's not to love about this? Just the hops guy and the cowboy hat with the guitar, just strumming along. It's it's from Novo Brewing Company. And
Never heard of them.
Yeah,
me neither.
it's do good, drink beer. Do good, drink beer. It's a really good message. You know what I mean?
Portland, Oregon. So,
Do good and drink beer.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, about the only thing that comes good out of there anymore is probably craft beer and coffee, I think. So,
right.
Yeah.
So high hopes.
5.1%.
So on the side of it, I guess the guy that did the artwork is Jonathan Q.
Yeah, you recognize the artwork, yeah.
Okay. So this is, of course, is a 16 ounce, but it's 5.1% alcohol by volume. And I'm trying to read the side. I should have not opened it. Novo Brewing Company, Corrales, New Mexico, and Portland, Oregon. So it's in two different places. I'm gonna say it's gonna be New Mexico. You know, personally, that's kind of how I feel about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's like not what I expect it to taste like. Yeah, it's not like a normal. I don't know what qualifies a German style Pilsner as just a regular Pilsner.
You have to say it with an accent, I think.
Is that it? Is it German Pilsner?
Viva last questions, not you. Knock, knock.
No, I mean,
who's there?
Are you guys getting
Viva.
like a?
I'm just kidding.
It's like a hoppy, citrusy kind of flavor to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not
almost
expecting
don't
that.
taste anything.
I was not. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You probably have COVID.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my
That's
God.
nice. That's not true. Let's take it back.
Okay, I take it back.
Okay.
What do you think, James?
Well, it says Pilsner, but I was almost getting like a kind of like a
It's almost pale ale-ish.
Wet dog?
yeah.
Wet dog. Come on now.
It's good. Camp. I went.
Jan's like, when are we going back to Martin House?
Can we go? You want me to go first, or
Yeah.
who wants to go first?
For the people that are listening along, Pilsner style, what are the most common Pilsner styles? Like just
Miller Lite.
Miller Lite.
Yeah,
Well, it's a Miller.
Miller. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
Like I don't think Miller Lite is like.
it's very
Pilsner,
light
yeah.
color.
Yeah, but a Pilsner would
easy
be
drinking kind of beer.
Yeah, but a Pilsner would be like a Miller, right?
Right.
Like
A Miller
a
genuine
Budweiser.
draft.
A Budweiser is a Pilsner, right?
No. Budweiser. Isn't Budweiser a lager?
Was it Miller Lite a lager?
No, Miller Lite's a
I
Pilsner.
don't know, man. Like, who? Why put a label on it? You know, I don't know.
That's true. We should buy
This is 2023.
labelless beers only.
Jesus Christ Almighty! Thank you, Lord.
Tell us what you think about the damn beer.
I'm not hating the beer. I mean, I think it's got good flavor. I think it's very crisp and very light. I don't get a weird, just bad aftertaste or anything like that. But I think it does. For me, it's like a kind of a mixture. It's like a mixture of a Pilsner, almost kind of like a Mexican style lager / I don't know where the German style comes in, but I don't hate it.
Viva last. I'm just kidding. I keep saying.
You don't need to keep doing that.
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to.
Maybe one more time.
Yeah, we'll get it out. Don't worry. Yeah, James, great score. What was your score?
He didn't give a score. He just said he
It's
doesn't
not
hate it.
terrible, I think is
Right.
what's
I'm going to go 7.3.
Okay.
That means you like it. That's
Yeah.
not I don't hate it. That's I like it.
I'll
that's
tell you
right.
right now, I like it better than Miller Lite.
Let me go
Oh.
because I'm pretty close to James. I was going 7-1. It's like not what I would expect with a Pilsner. I kind of do like the flavor.
Yeah.
It's like a mix between like a Pilsner and like a pale ale almost because that little hoppiness. It's got a little citrus in there. It's also it finishes like super weirdly clean.
Yeah.
You know, are you getting that? Kind of like when you drink like I don't know. It's just very very clean finish. It does not like as soon as you take a sip, it's like gone. It's not lingering in the palate.
I got a burp.
7-1, thanks.
Clean finish.
go
Oh
ahead.
God, there it is. Clean finish.
When you drink a
Yeah, I had fish earlier.
Clean finish on the way back.
Don't worry
up.
about me. I had fish earlier. I can smell that. It's rainbow trout. You want to go, John? Or you want me to go?
you go ahead. You seem pretty primed. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
The other day like I had, you'd be primed up too, bro. I'm just telling you. Yeah, man. Let me see.
I might fall asleep on the way home. Will you carry me into my house, James?
Yeah, we got you, bro. So,
Tell me one thing you like about it. One thing you like.
okay, I'm actually getting more on board with this beer the more I drink it, and it's I actually don't want to go yet. I had a
Can
score.
I jump in?
What? Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in.
Tag in.
My first drink.
Tag in, bro.
First drink, I was like, I don't taste anything at all. And then the couple drinks after that, I did not like it. Like I felt like it tasted like a wet dog smells. But the more I drink it, the more I tolerate it.
You gotta chug it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty okay. I'm gonna go like a 5-1. This is very middle of the road for me.
Wow. Okay.
If you bought it again, I would drink it.
Okay.
Although you might not want me to because I like other beers better. So
Where are you at on the can, right? How far have you gotten down?
The more you drink, the better it gets.
right there, I'm about almost halfway.
Oh, we forgot to shake it before we drink it.
I
So-
don't think that's a thing.
Okay, you're a 5-1.
5-1.
Okay?
I'm a 5-1.
I want you to take it all the way down past the shoulder, right? Yep. And big gulps, though. A big gulp. You just think about what you're doing. Just kill that motherfucker, okay? Let me get this.
He's just making you drink more.
That's all he's trying to do.
Okay, look.
You can't rescore.
Here's
You
the
already
deal.
scored.
No,
You
you
already
did.
scored.
You already scored. But I want you to do what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, so I initially, when I started doing this, I was in my head, I was like a 4, right? That's where I was at. I was like, it's a 4. So let me keep drinking. I smelled it. I was like, ugh, this is like somebody's ass or something, right? It just did not, it's very just pungent-y, right? But it's not, right? It I wasn't, my senses weren't awakened yet, you know? And maybe I'm an ass guy. I don't know, right? But
Wait, hold
the
on.
more I drink of this,
Yeah, keep going.
the more I drink of this thing, dude, I don't know what's going on, man. It's gotten better and better and better. And I'm so right now I'm below the shoulder. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
And dude, this thing may be this may be a 7.4.
Whoa.
So you're right with James and
7.4.
Yeah, okay.
7.4. Yeah, this is a great beer.
I would say I ruined it, but honestly, you guys didn't rate it that high either. So
7.4 is a great beer. I don't know.
Sevens are great. What are you talking
Seven's like
seven's not great.
it's-
8 is great.
No.
Okay, all right,
No.
all right.
7 is a highly. Hey, yes, I gave that freaking thing a 7.4. You got to try this thing. It's really good, right? But also drink it past the shoulder. So it comes with directions.
What is wrong with you?
I'm just saying.
Like, why is Pearl spelled like that? I don't understand. Shouldn't it be?
Because they can't put Merle.
No, I get that, but
Well,
I don't know.
you could spell pearl.
Yeah, wouldn't you spell Pearl P-E-A-R?
Perle.
L-P-E-A-R.
Yeah, Perle.
Pearl.
I think it's about time that we wrapped up the.
It's a Pilsner, and Pilsner starts with a P, and they just put it in front of Merle. So it's a Pearl.
You want me to look up Merle Haggard for
Right.
you?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's okay. Whatever.
Peril.
Anyways, I think we put the listeners through a long enough of this.
It's only a 90-second. It's only a 90-second beer review. You know that, right? No matter what, it's still a 90-second beer
90
review.
second
Hey,
peer
wait.
review is trademark for somebody else.
What's
It's not really.
What's the thing? What's the thing they say in movies when you look at the camera, you're breaking the
Fourth wall.
fourth wall? I think I did that. I just want to apologize because I did that. I looked at the camera.
Jesus, dude.
So for the folks that are listening along on Spotify, iTunes,
get
and
your
all
life
the
together.
all the
I'm sorry, man.
podcast outlets, and for the people that are tuning in to YouTube, hey guys, go check out our website, grabbthebrisket.com. Check out the beer reviews that we do. We ranked our favorite beers. I think we got top 10s, and is it multiple categories or is it
We
just
have top 10s overall, and then we have like top 3 in like a bunch of categories.
Yeah.
Do we have bottom of the barrel?
We also have like the worst,
The Hall of Shame.
and
The
the
Hall
Hall
of
of Shame, and I think they had to rate below a 4 to be in this. So there might be like 7 or 8 beers because we like a lot of beers. So.
for sure?
Unless you're the brewer and you want to chime in on this, because I don't want to hear from you, brewer. That's my beer and it's a 10. I don't want to hear that shit.
I do want to hear that shit.
No,
Please
it's
call in
fine.
and tell
Yeah.
us about
but,
that.
But tell us, go look at our ranking and then go try one of the beers and tell me what you think. And tell us, are we accurately scoring this thing? Because you're talking to a bunch of guys that drank light beers in the very, very beginning for a long. And I drank a little bit of
It's
everything.
changed.
I drank box. I drank a little bit of everything, but I was never like on the hop side of it. And now I've totally embraced a lot of the hops and and
Well, yeah, because a lot of
these.
these scores are very early beer scores.
Yeah.
From back before everybody was getting used to drinking these kind of things. And then also we score it with the can we get. If we got a bad batch or something got skunked out, it's what's getting scored.
Doesn't matter.
You know,
We don't-
should have pulled it off the shelf, but that's how it's getting
Not
scored.
on us.
Are you looking at our bottom of the barrel?
I got our Hall of Shame right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm going to go from 7 to 1. Delirium from Noel.
That was from our Christmas episode. That was a bad beer.
That was
I don't
horrible.
remember that. I don't remember that. The
Horrible.
Wake and Bake from Buffalo Bayou.
We did that like the first week, I think. We need to redo that one because
Yeah.
that's not fair.
That's not fair.
Oh, I remember this one. The Tequila Barrel Lime Ghost Sour Ale
That was
Okay.
bad.
from Boulevard
still
Brewing
think
Company.
So here's the deal. Some of these beers,
Yeah.
you can't get anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably true.
probably
The-
true.
the-
Right.
The goes is
As soon as we
not
put it on
good.
here, they probably pulled it.
What? Because they listen to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
they should.
That
Thank
is what
you.
I'm saying.
Thank you, brewers out there. Listen to the freaking
Oh,
podcast.
this
We're
next
gonna
one is
make,
a Shiner.
or we're going to
Yeah.
freaking break your
This
ass.
is a Shiner beer.
I'm just kidding.
This is the Straight Shooter Grapefruit and Lime from Shiner.
Yeah, got to go, bro.
We gave that one a collective 3.5.
Yeah.
The Natter Day Strawberry Lemonade Natural Light. Gave that
It gave me the
3.475.
shakes just thinking about it.
Now this is a big drop. That was a 3.4 or something.
Yeah.
Space Pizza from Martin House.
Bruh.
That was the pizza beer, the infamous pizza beer.
I never had it.
1.55.
You missed out.
Our collective collective.
It was
sound like I
so bad.
I wish I would have tried it.
It was
so
so
bad.
freaking bad.
I've said this before, but it tasted like you just took water and you took one of those Italian seasoning packets that comes in pizza sometimes. You just poured it in there
And
and,
then-
like mixed a light beer just a little bit and you just
Let that
swirl
ferment
And then, like,
that's
maybe
8
exactly what it
hours.
tastes like.
So it was an easy drinker.
But and then like a drop of like Campbell's Campbell's
Tomato
tomato
soup.
tomato.
What's our worst one?
Worst beer at a 1.43. More Cowbell.
We have to
from
redo
Buffalo
that one too
Bayou.
because I know people love that.
I
beer.
know. I
And
think we got a
one
bad batch.
We did that one a long time ago. We need to redo
So
that one.
so maybe we look. I can look online or whatever else. Maybe we look online and see like if we can get some of these beers back.
Oh, for sure.
And-
Those are in HEB right now. The
so
Wake
those
and
are-
Bake and the Buffalo Bayou, the more Cowbell.
Yeah.
You can get those almost any time, I think. I think part of it is both of those, I think, might be coffee beers. And I know James will never rate a coffee beer very high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we could probably bust it out of that.
We'll just do it on time where James is not here.
Right.
You know,
Oh, James
we'll
is.
bring Alex in. Wait, we'll rotate James out, Alex in, and he'll be
Right.
like,
Let me know. I'll peace out.
"Hey,
But for the people that are listening, and I honestly want to include the people that are listening, please send us any recommendations that you guys want us to try. Any beers out there. Also, if you have tried some of these beers and you got your own take on it, shoot us a voicemail. Send us a message on the hotline. Dude, we'll definitely play it in the beer review for sure.
Or if you want to send us
Yeah.
beer, we're
Well,
fine with that.
your
too.
win fail could be a
Please.
beer too.
can
Yeah.
we
Doesn't have to be
just
barbecue.
get some
That's true.
freaking beer? If you're a home brewer and you want to, I don't know about that, dude. We're gonna get salmonella or like strychnine. Like, there's no way of like. So obviously, if you're a home brewer, like we don't know you, we're not going to drink that. But potentially, we would.
Probably would.
Probably would. I mean, but yeah, if we're always down to get like a free sample in the mail.
We're down for free shit.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
dude.
free shit is my favorite shit.
Yeah,
so-
that's my favorite shit.
Okay.
Can
we wrap up this grabbing a brisket?
Beer review. Okay.
All right, let's sprint for the finish line here, Matt. What
Yeah,
do we
we're
got?
going to get through this real quick. We got a win or fail,
Real
don't
quick.
know. Yep, this is from Tommy Markwell.
Tommy.
Let's go,
Said,
T.
my worst experience was I had an electric smoker at the time and was doing my first brisket. The brisket had been in the smoker about 3 hours, and I decided to check on it. I opened the door, and there was no heat. The heating element had went out. I was beyond mad. I ended up doing a old charbroil grill where I overcooked it, but it was still somewhat edible. Sorry, Tommy. So I guess he just...
That's a brisket win. That's a win, dude.
That's like us trying to
Doesn't
save.
sound like a win.
So think about this.
Sounds like a double fail.
Yeah.
It's a
it
double
sounds-
fail. That's
that-
what it was.
the
What is
smoker
it?
element
Do
went
they
out.
cancel it? Two negatives make a positive.
Yeah.
No, so he had an issue.
Yep.
Then he took it off and put it on a different pit.
And fucked it up again.
Bro, I'm sorry. I thought you said it was good.
I'm sure he said it
was
was
the way you read it.
somewhat edible.
Okay.
That's how he
Somewhat
described
edible.
it. So
No,
That's
never
better than
mind.
not edible at all, I guess.
Sounds like it needs more sauce.
And what was it again?
Right.
Was it what
It was
was
a
it?
brisket.
It was a brisket.
His very
right?
first brisket.
so
Tommy,
Yeah.
we something good came out of this.
It
right?
did, man.
how
You
did
know what?
your heating element go out on your first brisket though?
Well, maybe he had cooked a lot of other shit. Maybe it was a
Yeah, it had to
hand-me-down
be.
grill. There could be a lot of.
It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that you failed and you shared it, brother.
We
You know?
appreciate it, Tommy.
We do appreciate it.
Tommy Gunn.
Tommy
And we got to get Tommy in a different grill.
T,
Yeah.
man.
We gotta
And
get him in
Tommy,
it.
Hey.
I would really love to hear you send a reply of like a brisket that turned out good since then.
100%.
Send a win in. I want to hear how it got better since
Yeah.
this point.
If
it has.
If you're not failing, you're not learning, right? And congratulations, because you're now in the you've entered in for our end of the year giveaway by sharing. And this happens to anybody that wants to share and get on the podcast. Obviously, if you leave a voicemail, you get in first. But if you write in, and we go through them, right? It's not to say if you write in and you don't leave a voicemail, we're not going to put you on, because obviously we do.
We try to.
That's it. But guess what? Guess what you just won? Sucklebusters. Everybody wants some Sucklebusters. Let's go, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
There it is.
Appreciate it. Hey, so one quick thing, and we talked about this earlier a little bit, and go ahead.
If people want to send in their wins or fails, how would they do that?
They would call in on the hotline, for one, or they would reach out to the show, which is, the phone number is 434-829-2299. Or they can write in on the show, right? So GRABTHEBRISKET.com, you can leave us a message there, or one of our social medias, right? Hey, just get in touch.
Wherever.
And let's
Lots
go.
of ways to do it.
Also, if you're listening and you've heard your story, right, and you're like, hey, I didn't get my seasoning yet. I didn't get this.
Message us.
Message us. We need, because we want to make sure that you're getting what you're supposed to be getting and everything else. So don't feel like we're leaving you out. We're not leaving you out.
Right. It's not us.
It's not us. It's them, bro.
Right.
It's you.
We're on your side.
Yeah. We want you to get your stuff. So yeah. But earlier we were talking about a few things, and one of the things I've been spitballing around and was after hearing Kel and just kind of we've been talking about this a little bit back and forth. We have been for a long time, but it's like putting on a maybe a barbecue class of some sort. But in my head, and I think what I want to do, and I think what our group can do is something so unique that it's unlike anything out there on the market right now. And so just listen for more, because I think we're going to try to put a show on maybe in the spring of this coming up year in 24, and we might start doing a few classes. But again, it's not going to be you sit there and take notes. This is going to be a very high impact class.
It's going to be mastercraft.
It's going to be hands-on.
It's going to be very hands-on. This is going to be a very select. We're not funneling 50 people in here because we want to make a bunch of money and whatever else. This is going to be a very small class, and this is going to be a gauntlet, right? This is going to be something. It is, and here's the deal. Like, I'm not fucking around. Like, it's very intense.
Jan will kick you out after you paid. If you're not living up.
I'm telling you right now.
You're gonna have to sign a waiver.
Go to the principal's office.
Have you ever been to Fight Club before? Because it's something like that, right?
If you lose a digit, it's not our fault.
So right, and listen, I think one of the things that we want to, and obviously it's local or whatever else, but if you want to fly in, I don't care. I don't care who wants to get on this.
You may or may not get to cook on Johnny and June.
That's it. Johnny and June's may be acceptable for this. It could also lead to a guest spot in here in the Grabbing a Brisket podcast studios. Well, I say that, right? It's supposed to be apparently in podcast studios. I'm just renaming it right now. He doesn't even know. Rose, like, what are you talking about?
Where's my microphone?
Hey, give my microphone over. But no, listen, this is the gauntlet, man. And this is something I've been kind of dreaming up and thinking of a little bit. And I think we could execute this in a manner that would blow you away. And honestly, I think it's the next step for people trying to get into barbecue, trying to get into competition. This is the next step right here of what we're trying to put in. I don't want to put too much out there because there's a whole lot of copycatters out there, and they're always tripping on us like we're what. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not giving too much information out right now.
But if you are interested,
that's right.
Reach out to us.
100%, because I think it's going to be freaking amazing. So, and again, last week I said this. This is not some freaking bullshit like 4-hour, 8-hour type deal.
It's going to be experience.
This is going to be an experience. So,
you get to sleep over at Jan's house.
Dude.
It's true.
Yeah.
You sleep in the garage on the new couch.
A lot of the what is the vitamin that you need to help like supplement your liver
intake?
Yeah.
So
You're definitely gonna have to.
What'd you say?
Vitamin D. What are you
made
talking
him.
about?
You made him drink too much of that craft beer too fast. All right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Milk thistle.
It's milk thistle.
Yeah, right. It's milk thistle.
By the way, listen, we're going to hand you a handful of vitamins in the morning, milk thistle in the afternoon.
I think the competition should be that you get everybody plastered the night before.
Yeah.
Then you have to wake up drunk
Dude,
at like 4 a.m. and get that meat on.
Drill sergeant,
And,
just like,
we're only going to give you shitty barbecue pits like that leak smoke, and you got to fight the fire. That's the competition.
What is
Anybody
your
can
deal,
cook on the
Private? Right. Yeah. No, this will be good.
Anyways,
Yeah.
okay. Can we?
I'm just saying, look, just stay tuned for this, and obviously, if you're interested in this coming out in the early spring of next year, 2024, maybe around April or so, hit us up because it's going to be limited spots. And when I say limited, I'm saying like
5 or
6.
6, yeah.
Six total, right? Because this is going to be, it's a lot to do this, and any more than that, I don't think we could keep I don't think we could keep 100%, right? I don't think we keep this thing together and as a group, but are consistent, right? So again, this is not for the masses. It's not for 50 spots or 20 spots or whatever else. It's very intimate, and better bring some Band-Aids, bro, because it's going to be on.
What the hell?
all right, we're definitely going to kick the can around for that one, and we'll get things put together.
Kick the can.
Let me just
I
go
don't
ahead and
know what
just
you're
quickly look. I have my own sayings. You have your own sayings. So let's go ahead and just do a
curtail
quick
this.
do a quick episode recap. Just okay. So we learned that Joey, the albino grizzly, has the worst luck in the world.
Well, there was another guy that fell off of a chair.
Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty
true.
bad.
We
too.
learned that James
That's
has
true.
the worst luck in the world too
Yeah,
as well.
but you didn't get
Mexican-
tranquilized and put in the Arctic 3 different times.
Yeah.
The Mexican
I'm just
aliens
telling you
are
that.
really pinatas. We learned that one. You
Well,
heard it here
well,
first.
the Mexico aliens are maybe probably real, to be honest with you, because that whole region with the Mayans and
Okay,
I'm just
all right,
saying, you never
Machu
know, man.
Picchu.
I'm just saying.
That's South America. I think.
It's
Yeah,
still, you're good. You're good.
I'm just saying it's probably real.
Anyways,
Yeah, we learned a little bit about smoke rings. I'm honestly next week.
We had Frank Cox.
You had Frank Cox throwing down the knowledge.
Smokerbuilder.com. Guys, go check him out. A wealth of knowledge. Go check out the barbecue pits that he has. And the fact that you can go in and get any level that you're looking. You want to put the whole thing together yourself? Great. If you want to buy a barbecue plan from him, great. If you want to do something special and create your own, great. This is the guy you reach out to. He is the OG. He is the original, and he is probably the smartest guy putting these damn things together, right? So please reach out to Frank because he is a wealth of knowledge, and what he's doing is phenomenal.
Yeah, couldn't have said it any better, Jan. I'm just going to tease our next episode. Probably is going to feature a lot of Kansas City Royal interviews, barbecue talk. I think we still have a hometown bar episode.
that episode's coming out.
That is going to come up, and that might be the next episode that people are able to get a hold of and check it out because that's pretty badass. So you got Ram Aguilar with hometown sports bar and grill and seafood here in Pearland, Texas. He is doing it right, taking care of the community. Super great guy. So I'm super. I said super twice.
There's a lot of supers in there.
I'm excited for
Super.
everybody to listen to his story and just get to know the guy.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
And I'm super excited to get to the Royal.
Oh, that's coming up, man. Next week,
We're gonna win it all.
we're going to be out there.
Well, we ain't gonna lose.
God, we're actually not gonna lose.
Yeah. So we'll be there next week, and stay tuned because we're going to bring you we're going to bring you with the heart and the essence of what the Royal is from our eyes, right? And our how we feel about this, the temperature, everything else. And
We're gonna bring you a lot of shenanigans.
It's going to be so awesome.
A lot of drunkery, foolishness.
Drunkery.
And since we're flying in, we don't have a 16 to 20 hour drive there this time.
Yeah.
It means you can't pregame for 16 hours. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you were doing in the back of the van, but I was driving.
Hey,
Exactly.
The fact that you work for South Company, I don't know what to say out loud. The
It's
fact that you
fine.
work,
South Company. I work for South Company.
the fact that you work for an airlines, South Company. I don't know if you want to say the rest. Dude, do we get like free drink coupons? Do you
No,
have
he
any?
didn't. give
We
a shit.
certainly do not.
Perfect.
Get
Okay.
Free
So
drink
we don't.
coupons.
So we don't get it. But But
Yeah.
so there may be a few videos coming out from that too. So
Right. Let me just go ahead and just jump in there really quick and say, guys, it's been great talking barbecue with you.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody. We've been great.
As we close out, big thanks to SmokerBuilder.com and the NBBQA for their unwavering support.
Absolutely. And cheers to Barbecue News Magazine, Sucklebusters, and Dalstrong Knives for their contributions.
And you know YETI always has our back, and CoolieNation ensures our drinks stay perfectly cold.
Lastly, props to Cambro Manufacturing and, of course, the Spicy Nut, the Chicks of Smoke Seasoning. Thanks to all for powering this show.
Until next time, keep smoking.